Anyway, I wanted to have this man on because we are discussing local elections from now until we have these local elections. My Sunday nights are going to be filled with a lot of local election stuff. And so I'm so thrilled. It's such an honor to have Chris Lauzen on. Chris Lauzen is a long-time conservative. He served in the state Senate for quite a bit of time. He was there and started in 1992. And I love this because at that time, Chris really did have a heart for the taxpayer. And in fact, he was the lead on the Revenue Committee. So he knows a lot about what's going on with taxes. He also, though, served locally. He was Kane County Board Chairman. And he kind of took a break, quite frankly, said, hey, somebody else can do this. And lo and behold, he found out that Kane County was headed in the wrong direction, and he put his name back on the ballot, and he decided to run again, and he's the current Kane County Treasurer. And we're having him on to discuss this historic referendum that they're trying to run to raise taxes in Kane County. I think I got that all right. Chris, thank you so much for joining me on the program.
My gosh, Jeannie, that was wonderful. Thank you very much for all of your good work.
Great. Well, I mean, tell us more about what's going on in Kane County, because you can explain how this stuff just creeps in without really the residents understanding what's going on. And before they know it, they have a tax increase.
Absolutely, and it never goes away, as you know better than most. I don't know whether I should call it, what's happening in Kane County on April Fool's Day, larceny or gluttony or both. Because what's happened in just the last 4 years is the Kane County board, which is a supermajority Democrat with the Democrat chairman, they've doubled spending in just the last 4 years. It's actually precisely 88% increase according to their audited financial statements that then are contained in their annual comprehensive financial report. One of the things that's going on in this referendum, like every tax increase referendum, is they go out with the dog and pony show. They're scaring a lot of people. They're really giving people false information. They say that the information that I'm providing and that proponents, the grassroots, the opponents to the referendum are providing is false, or it's inaccurate information. We're just using their official documents. So they doubled the spending, and now their solution to it naturally is to tax more. They say, it's just a little amount because they get it down to the fraction of a sales tax increase, but it's $51 million.
Jeez.
$51 million. And you say, well...
Wait, on a budget of how much?
Yeah, $109 million. That is a perfect... That's the West Point economics major and the person who served for 6 years in the House. You're absolutely right. And yet, what's wild about this is they say that it looks like it's going to be a tight race because of all the bad information that's going out there. So a 47% increase all at once, one vote on of all days, April Fool's Day, and they get 47% more. And your listeners understand that those taxes never go away.
Never. No. So they doubled spending, or nearly doubled spending. Are your roads, covered in gold? I mean, what did they do in 4 years?
Well, and think about it. During those same 4 years, they burned through $93 million in COVID money, $103 million of ARPA, or American Recovery Plan Act funding. So $200 million plus. And thank you for introducing why I got back into the fight is I made the mistake of watching the finance committee meetings, and they were making 1/2 of 1 penny per year interest on $250 million that our team had left behind. So 1/2 one. So now rather than $1.8 million, which is what their budget had 2 years ago, we produced $17 million in interest income, and then last year $21 million. So more than 10 times as much, and that $27 million is gone. They say, well, we spread that among all the funds and all the different managers. All it does is become a slush fund in all those areas. They don't concentrate or aggregate the money so that they can do something. During the time that we had Republican control, during my time from 2012 for the next 8 years, we put in place a property tax levy freeze. Not the tax rate. You can play mathematical games.
Yes, you can. No, not the rate. That's the rate is the result of a multiplication.
That's right.
Or a division. Yeah.
Yeah. So we put that in place. It had a momentum that even 4 years after I was gone, it was still in place. Actually, it's because the grassroots people showed up and they fought back. And the board, they proposed it, a gas tax increase. The grassroots beat that back. The property tax, every year fought that back until election year. They didn't bring it forward for a vote, but 2 days after they got re-ensconced in office, when they got reelected November 4th, within 2 days, on November 6th, the Finance Committee passed the maximum amount of property taxes.
Oh, so my gosh.
They are claiming now that, well, we've chosen the sales tax because the property tax, instead of the property tax. No, the truth is, in addition to the maximum property tax, because they've exhausted us.
Well, that's the worst thing. They just lie about it too. They absolutely lie about the numbers, and they bamboozle people. But I mean, come on, Kane County people have got to be smarter than that. And plus, why would you need this additional revenue if it wasn't natural growth? I mean, Kane County is booming. It's looking great. You've got a lot of retail along Randall Road. I mean, you've got really nice homes. You are booming.
Well, and I am counting on people being, the smart voters who I've served for 32 years. This is a 12% increase in the sales tax over the state portion. The Tax Foundation, which is globally recognized as the best in the business, the most nonpartisan. It's nonprofit, 501c3, all the rest of it. They say that our average state and local sales tax will increase to 9.61%. So almost a dime of every dollar that people spend.
Yeah, well, you know it. And when you put that sales tax on, guess what? It also applies to your gas, and it's a multiplier thing. So this is just so outrageous. What should people know in order to make sure that they vote no? I mean, it's an obvious ask for a tax increase, or did they hide it in the language?
It's just a no vote. Clearly, just a no vote. But they have to go to the end of the ballot.
That's right.
To get there. So no vote on that. The real challenge here is that in the general election, 43,000 vote by mail, permanent vote by mail ballots went out. That was about 20% of all votes cast in a very competitive general election. About 38,000 of those permanent vote by mail ballots have already gone out again. And so, kind of flooded the zone. Our elections are becoming much more collection of ballots. It used to be that it was a vote, and you and I would go and present ourselves to our neighbors and, persuade them to vote for us. And it was a decision. Now it's a system of getting these vote by mail, and all legal under Illinois law, for what it's worth, under a Pritzker and supermajority for all the time that they've had it. But our big challenge is going to be overcoming what they have systematically put out there in just swamping us. So, and if things were so tight in the budget, which they were not, they've spent 88% more, so doubled it in 4 years. Why just last year in July or August did they give themselves 20% raises?
Oh my gosh!
So,
well, because they control the board. This is what happens when you turn a board over to the Democrats. I mean, the same thing is happening in DuPage County, quite frankly. They're spending money, outrageous amounts of money as well, and just giving it away to any nonprofit they want to as well. So, Chris, listen, I'm telling you, like, it really does matter if you're a precinct committeeman and if you are there and you can track your permanent vote by mail ballots and you can collect them in, and if you can tell every Republican, if Republicans show up, though, they can swamp the Democrat vote. But every Republican needs to show up and do it.
Absolutely. And, for these people who come to, every once in a while there's a person who comes to these so-called information meetings. I hate to use the cliche, but misinformation meetings. And they say, "Oh, I'm really happy to pay my taxes." Well, I tell you, Jeannie, I'm not. I've been doing, like you, started out in preparing taxes and giving financial advice to people before you did it on a public policy stage in the legislature. But if anybody doesn't feel that they're paying enough taxes, literally come to our office, the Kane County Treasurer's office, write out a check, any amount that they want. We will accept it. We will thank them. We'll deposit it. But don't force the rest of us to participate in that kind of financial insanity, fiscal irresponsible insanity.
And as you know,
give us a check.
Yeah, as you know, every level of government needs its own Doge effort, and there's no doubt. There's no doubt that they can find savings. We need a Calvin Coolidge mindset from every single administrator. They need to cut that red tape.
His picture, Calvin Coolidge's picture, is sitting on the top of the piano in our living room.
He's a great guy. He was a great president. He
Absolutely
solely focused on the budget. All right, that's all I got time for with you, Chris. Thanks so much for joining me on the program.
You're
that was best. Chris Lauzen.
You're the best. Okay.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Okay, we'll be right back. I've got lots more to share with you.